Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. I am Wasif Syed, and I am a pre-sales engineer here at 42Gears Americas. We focus primarily on simplifying the management of business endpoints and offer some really creative solutions to manage just that. I will be your presenter for today, and I am very excited to recap what we were up to in 2020. This was definitely a challenging year worldwide with the pandemic, but our solutions have helped customers manage their devices better than ever before. For example, schools and other educational institutions were able to use our tools to better secure devices by limiting access to only study-related apps before handing them out to their students. So let's jump right into it. We'll start with some feature additions and improvements to our flagship offering and finish up with a question and answer session. Let's begin by taking a look at new features we've added to SureMDM, our easy-to-use device management solution. SureMDM saw quite a few changes over the last year. So to keep it easy to view and understand, we'll look at just a few changes at a time. The first feature set that we will be talking about today is enhanced bulk enrollment, rehauled interface, and some improved security features that give SureMDM's administrators greater peace of mind. So the first major thing we've added is a new way to enroll Windows devices in bulk. SureMDM now works with the Windows Configuration Designer tool. This means you can now use the Windows Configuration Designer to create a provisioning package or a .ppkg file, and then install that file to many Windows devices for a much faster enrollment. Next up, we made some really meaningful changes to our dashboard on the online console. First, we've integrated our data analytics tool into the dashboard. In the past, users needed to generate reports to work with analytics, and the new dashboard integration is a more convenient alternative. Plus, we recognize that it's helpful to view some devices in specific groups. That's why we have enabled users to create multiple dashboards. Users can now also color code devices to visualize key aspects and values with corresponding color-coded graphs. These simple color-coded graphs are very helpful in notifying admins if everything is okay or if anything needs immediate attention. Additionally, another addition to the dashboard allows admins to control which users can access each dashboard. SureMDM now includes the ability to set custom permissions, ensuring that only certain users can see a specific dashboard. Let's take a look at a demo. To create a dashboard, navigate to the dashboard option on the top blue bar. Here, you want to click on Add Chart, which will open up a library of pre-created charts. You can choose from either of those or select to add your own custom chart. There are three types of custom dashboard widgets that you can create. Device count. With this option, you can graph analytics data across multiple devices to find important patterns and make meaningful comparisons. Next up is aggregation. With aggregation, you can aggregate the data from multiple devices to find averages, maximum, minimum ranges, and more. From there, you can plot these values against time for higher level insights at a quick glance. Next up is map analytics, and this is a pretty creative feature. So with this feature, you can figure out which self-service provider is best for your company by mapping and comparing signal strengths against a given region. As an example, I'm going to create a device count widget for battery percentage analytics. And I'm going to select the time span over the last week. And my data source will be device information that the MDM is already collecting from the device. In this case, the analytics data will be the battery percentage, and I will set the high value as 100 and a medium value for 50. And then when I click on configure, it opens up a new section from where I can select which group I want to run those analytics for. I can select that specific group and hit save. And as you can see, a widget gets created, and it has color-coded values to differentiate how many devices are above the medium value and how many devices are below the medium value. All right, let's move on to look at some of our other security improvements. As you can see, there are 3 improvements. 2 of them are Windows improvements, and 1 of them is an Android improvement. And we'll start off with the Android one. For Samsung Knox devices, we now support KSP, or Knox Service Plugin, which allows anyone with Knox devices to implement Knox features almost immediately after they come out. Moving on to the Windows security improvements, SureMDM now supports configuring Windows Firewall remotely. Configuring this allows the basically provides protection against anyone trying to access company networks inappropriately. Admins can now create and push firewall settings to enroll devices over the air. Additionally, SureMDM also supports configuring Windows Defender remotely. This provides an essential line of defense against spyware and enables real-time protection. Let's move on to the second feature set of enhancements made to SureMDM in 2020. The first up is new integrations with third-party tools, followed by relay server support and app wrapping for Windows devices. Let's start off by looking at a few third-party integrations. SureMDM has introduced 2 integrations that will help substantially with network access control. Integration with Cisco ISC and integration with Aruba ClearPass. Beginning with SureMDM's support for Cisco ISC, or Cisco's Identity Services Engine, admins can identify and prevent unauthorized devices from accessing company networks. Next up is the integration with Aruba ClearPass, and which is a network access control tool. This tool helps admins with advanced insights into the kinds of devices that are connecting to company networks, along with ensuring that IT-issued devices connect safely to company networks and are in compliance with all security mandates. Next is support for capturing notifications for specific device-related events in real time. So basically allowing the admins to receive notifications immediately using the webhook framework. This webhook framework serves as an advanced notification method whenever specific events are triggered. Next enhancement on our list is one of my personal favorites, which is SureMDM's support for relay servers. Relay server support is meaningful because it can save a fortune on bandwidth or data consumption costs. The relay server itself downloads any given large-sized job pushed by SureMDM, and then every device connects to the relay server locally to obtain that job. Rather than each device connecting to the internet separately, they can all find the needed data on their local relay server. It is very simple to configure relay server with SureMDM. Let's take a look at how to do that. So once you're inside your SureMDM console, you may want to navigate to the job section on the top blue bar. from where you will navigate to New Job and select Android as your operating system. From here, select the Relay Server Configuration job. Let's start this off by giving the job a name. So I'm going to give it a name, calling it Relay Server Config. And then once this is set up, I'm going to enable configuration through Relay Server. To do that, I will check that box and enter a Relay Server URL. If the device, if the Relay Server has a username and password, feel free to add those credentials here, as well as if it requires acceptance of certificates, so feel free to configure those as well. Once you have all of these Relay Server configurations set up, click on OK. And this will create a Relay Server job in your SureMDM account. You can then push this Relay Server job to a group of devices. In order to do that, just select your device or a group of devices and hit the Apply button. Select your Relay Server and then click on Apply. Once you do that, the job gets applied to the selected devices, and the devices will start connecting to the Relay Server to obtain those install jobs or file transfers. The last one on that feature list was app wrapping, so we'll move on to that one. In 2020, we expanded our support for app wrapping to now include Windows devices. App wrapping allows users to generate a pre-configured Nix agent for their SureMDM account. This customized Nix agent is mainly used to further simplify mass enrollments by eliminating the need to manually enter the SureMDM account credentials after installing the Nix agent. Let's move on to the final feature set from SureMDM from 2020. To start this feature set off, we'll start off by talking about support for Linux profiles. Then we'll look at some new plugins, and finally look at some OEM specific things connectors. Talking about Linux profiles, we now offer support for profiles on Linux devices. This means that admins can send a bundle of settings and payloads to Linux devices using a single profile. This also allows admins to easily lock Linux devices to just a few applications, set certain restriction policies, and also simplify mass enrollments. Let's take a look at how easy it is to configure Linux profiles. Once you log into your SureMDM account, you can navigate to the Profile section on the top blue bar, and from here, select Linux as your operating system. You can click on Add to create a new profile, and a new profile template opens up from where you can choose different options. I'm going to take a look at the application policy configuration from where you can either install, uninstall, or upgrade applications on your Linux machines. Next up is system settings. You can use this section to configure certain restrictions or perform certain actions, such as define behavior for Wi-Fi settings on devices, or behavior for kernel updates, as well as also forcing Wi-Fi whitelisting. Then also one part of the kiosk policy of the Linux profiles is kiosk policy, which allows you to lock down Linux devices to just a few applications. So you can go ahead and choose from a drop-down of available apps. And once you have all of these profiles combined into, all of these configurations combined into one profile, set up inside one profile, you can click on Save, and then proceed to applying this profile to all to your Linux devices. So in this case, I navigate back to the home page, select my device, select the profile, and hit Apply. And momentarily, you'll see that the profile with the available configurations was successfully deployed on the device. Now, moving into our robust plugin support. we've added a few new plugins that expand the functionality of the SureMDM console in exciting ways. Plugins help simplify mass changes in a large-scale deployments. So we have Columnify, which helps with creating new device grid columns. Expo Job, which makes it easier to export jobs to XML files for easy storage. Renamed, which helps with renaming devices in bulk. And then on a similar note, Fix the Name, which helps administrators modify a name rather than just replacing them. Group Creator makes it easy for users to create different groups with ease. And Group Assignment Wizard is helpful for automatically sorting large quantities of devices to their respective groups based on certain predefined conditions. Finally, there's an update on our Things connector technology, and we'll take a look at that. Things connectors connect the SureMDM console with things that cannot be normally managed. An example for a thing is a printer or a scanner. It's essential to have as much OEM support as possible to manage these devices, which is why we're very excited to have partnered with DataLogic, Zebra, and Chainway to build Things connectors to further simplify management of their things. Apart from SureMDM, some of our other products also saw a few important improvements in 2020. SureLock, which is our app whitelisting solution, has a handful of quality of life improvements, such as rewritten app text and a way to quickly access the password screen inside single application mode. Also, the devices that are secured by SureLock can now transfer files via NFC and make adjustments to Wi-Fi connectivity whenever necessary. SureFox, which is our secure browsing solution, now supports dark mode on Apple devices. This improves the aesthetic consistency with the overall device. SureVideo, which is our digital signage solution, now enables scheduling multiple playlists, which can be scheduled to play automatically at a given time. And also, it includes advanced analytics engine that will help administrators get meaningful insights for SureVideo. Thanks for staying with us so far, everyone. We'll now move on to our Q&A session. So make sure to get in any questions you have soon. All right, so the first question that I see is, it's a great question. So what is the intended purpose of the map analytics feature? The maps analytic feature inside the SureMDM's dashboard allows the users to get detailed information about their carrier signal strengths, right? So inside a specific geographical radius. This will help SureMDM admins decide, analyze, decide, and choose the carrier with the best coverage for a given location. So maybe a specific carrier that works well in a particular location, you can get that level of information from that map analytics widget inside the dashboard. The second question that I see here is, can you give me an example of when webhook notifications would be useful? Yeah, absolutely. So let's say I created a compliance policy for my devices that prohibits the end user from uninstalling a work-specific application. So as soon as somebody does that action of uninstalling that work application on a device, an event will get triggered, and will and that event trigger will basically be sent to a pre-configured webhook URL, which then will immediately notify the administrator that that particular user has uninstalled a work application on the device. I see a few questions. So can you give me an example of how you can customize permissions for different users on your dashboard? Yeah, so let's say this is a good feature for where you have different departments in an organization, and you're managing different departments using different folder structures, for example. So so let's say these IT issued devices for these multiple departments are in different groups, and the MDM administrator only wants managers from those departments to have access to the analytics for their specific groups, right? So for that user specific groups, and they don't want them to see analytics globally. So which is where you can use that customized permissions option for analytics. That's just one example of it. And then I think we'll wait a few more seconds to see if we have any other questions. All right, I see this one, which is, can I get application usage analytics for SureLock? Oh, I love this question. This is one of my favorite pieces, right? So which is our kiosk lockdown tool, which is which works on the principle of allowing work-related applications only. So there's a lot of analytics that you can run on that. Some examples being inside a multi-user mode, you can say, okay, who logged in, which user logged in into the device, and at what time, what application did they launch, and how long did they spend inside that application, and what time did they log out. So where in industries where you want to keep an audit of who logged in into a shared device, this is a great feature to have, which is analytics inside SureLock. Thank you again, and stay safe. Bye-bye now.